Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap last night's Monday Night Football game between the 49ers and the Rams, and then recap everything from college basketball to the NBA to the NHL. Look at everything tonight. College football tonight, we have a couple games in Maction. I want to preview and pick those. News and notes. I'm going to do a segment, 2020 NFL Draft Hit or Miss. I go through the first round of the draft and say hit or miss so far. And that's the activity of the week. NFL, not redrafts, but hit or miss as of now in each of the four professional sports. And then Dancing with the Stars and Best Bet. We'll start with Monday Night Football. It was a fun game for the 49ers as they get a big win over the Los Angeles Rams to get themselves back into that pure contention for that last wildcard spot in the NFC. 31-10. The Niners improved to 4-5. Rams dropped to 7-3. Jimmy Garoppolo, 15 of 19, 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford, another poor outing, 26 of 41, 243 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. And we saw Johnny Hecker throw a pass for 2 yards. I wonder if there was like a fake punt or something like that in the game. We did not see Trey Lance. And it was probably the most impressive performance I've seen from the 49ers all season. All right, we'll do a quick college basketball recap from last night, and we will look ahead to another busy window for tonight. Number 9, Baylor over Nichols, 89-60. Kennesaw State over Carver College, 117-58. South Carolina Upstate over St. Andrews, 96-43. Denver over IUPUI, 63-47. Number 19, Ohio State over Bowling Green, 89-58. App State over William Peace, 98-49. Marquette over number 10, Illinois, 67-66. Florida over St. Thomas, Minnesota, 84-78. Wofford over Erskine, 98-41. Moritz State over Kentucky Christian, 82-57. Florida A&M over Lemoyne Owen, 95-70. Presbyterian over the Citadel, 74-70 in double overtime. UMBC over Penn State York, 85-47. Marshall over Milligan, 80-58. St. Fran, Pennsylvania over Franciscan, 100-54. South Florida over NC A&T, 56-54. Weber State over Duquesne, 63-59. UNT Greensboro over Coppin State, 55-48. Virginia Tech over Radford, 65-39. Clemson over Bryant, 93-70. LSU over Liberty, 74-58. UMass over Penn State, 81-56. Quinnipiac over Holy Cross. That was right, 76-68. Old Dominion over Manhattan, 79-58. Ohio over Robert Morris, 85-71. Louisiana Tech over Jarvis Christian, 91-61. Belmont over Furman, 95-89 in overtime. McNeese over Champion Christian, 116-66. Georgia Tech over Lamar, 75-66. Northern Arizona over Benedictine, Arizona, 97-48. Buffalo over North Texas, 69-66. SIU Edwardsville over Knox College, 75-37. Northern Colorado over Colorado College, 93-53. Texas Tech over Prairie View, 84-49. TCU over Southern Miss, 83-51. UMKC over Missouri, 80-66. SMU over Northwestern State, 95-48. Colorado over Maine, 90-46. Louisville over Navy, 77-60. North Dakota over Montana, 79-77. Central Michigan over Eastern Illinois, 62-61. Arkansas State over Central Baptist College, 90-63. How about this? Texas A&M Commerce upsets UTSA, 65-62. So I think that's the second non-Division I team to upset a Division I team. Number 1, Gonzaga over Alcorn State, 84-57. San Diego loses at Cal, 75-70. Washington over Texas Southern, 72-65. Eastern Washington over Walla Walla, 111-71. New Mexico over Grambling, 86-61. Providence over Wisconsin, 63-58. Tulsa over Oregon State, 64-58. San Fran over Samford, 77-55. Arizona State over Northern Florida, 72-63. Utah over Bethune-Cookman, 86-55. Sac State over Cal Poly, 58-57. Fresno over Idaho, 69-62. Utah Valley over Pepperdine, 86-74 in overtime. St. Mary's over Southern Utah, 70-51. UNLV over North Dakota State, 64-62. Number 2, UCLA over Long Beach State, 100-79. So best bet, easy winner. Washington State over UC Santa Barbara, 73-65. And Stanford over San Jose State, 76-62. Now we look ahead to tonight's window. 5 o'clock from Mohegan Sun Arena, you have UMass Lowell and Oklahoma State. My projection is OK State by 8.25. I did not do totals today because of the lack of time that I had. And it is OK State by 15.5, total 137.5. I'm taking UMass Lowell in the points. Six o'clock ESPNU, number 25 USC at Florida Gulf Coast. I project USC by 10.5. And it's 13.5. I'm taking Gulf Coast plus the 10.5 to stay within the number. And Andy Enfield back in at Gulf Coast. So that's a fun subplot. Texas A&M Corpus Christi at IUPUI. My projection, or I'm sorry, it's not at IUPUI. It's at the UTSA Convention Center. My projection is Corpus Christi by 2.75. And it is IUPUI by 1.5. I'm taking Corpus Christi plus 1.5 and plus 112. Straight up. Next up, Miami at FAU on CBS Sports Network. My projection is Miami by 5. And it is Miami by 6.5. Total is 144.5. That sounds just about right. And honestly, I kind of like the under here. Next up, Fox Sports 263, Howard at number 5, Villanova. My projection is Villanova by 28.25, and it's Villanova by 24.5. So I'm going to lay the 24.5 with Villanova. 7 o'clock, right side, number 6, Purdue. My projection is Purdue by 14, and it is Purdue by 18.5, and taking Wright State in the points. Gardner Webb at number 7, Duke on the ACC Network X channel. My projection is Duke by 22.25, and it is Duke by 21.5. I actually have a slight edge on Duke, but it's too close. Total's 142.5. I'm going to take the over. Mount St. Mary's at number 13, Kentucky. My projection is Kentucky by 24.75. And it is 23.5. So similar situation here. Total 133.5. That is super low. I'm taking the over. Kent State hosting Oberlin. We can skip. Leiden State, Dartmouth, Iowa Wesleyan, Western Illinois Life University, Mercer, Worcester, Vermont, Bob Jones, Georgia Southern. Next up, Colgate, Cornell. My projection is Colgate by 1. And it is they don't have this line unveiled on FanDuel. Let's see if DraftKings has it. If not, I'll just check Vegas Insider to see if they have it. It's Colgate by 7.5. That's a lot. I'm taking Cornell plus 7.5. I don't know what the money line is, but I would give that a look. Keystone VMI. Regent Delaware State. Next up, Boston P. Purdue Fort Wayne. My projection is Austin P by 4. And it is Austin P as a 7.5 point underdog. Wrong team's favored. I'm taking Austin P plus a 7.5 and plus 275 on the money line. And I love Austin P. Like, that's a crazy, crazy thing. Next up is Winthrop at Middle Tennessee. My projection is Winthrop by 8.5. And it is Winthrop by 2.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Winthrop. Next up is Tennessee Tech and Chattanooga. My projection is Chattanooga by 10.75. And it is 13.5. I'm going to take Tennessee Tech in the points. Next couple, we can skip Fisher College and Sacred Heart, DePauw and Evansville, Edinburgh and Cleveland State. Next up, William and Mary and Norfolk State. I project Norfolk by 12.25. And it is only 2.5. I'm related 2.5 with Norfolk State. Hampton and Towson. My projection here is Towson by 4.5. And it is 9.5 for Towson. I'm taking Hampton in the points. Boston University at Northeastern. My projection is Northeastern 5, and it's 4.5. Total's 134.5. That's low. I'll take the over. James Madison in Eastern Kentucky. I project Eastern Kentucky by 6.5. And it is 3.5. I'm going to lay to 3.5 with Eastern Kentucky. Fox Sports 1, Creighton, Nebraska. I project Nebraska by 2.5. And this line is the Cornhuskers favored by 3.5. Total's 145.5. I'll take the over. Creighton's a high-scoring team usually. Next up is SC State at Georgia. My projection is Georgia by 26. And Georgia is giving 19.5. I'm going to lay it with Georgia. Alabama A&M at Cincinnati. My projection is Cincinnati by 28.25. And Cincinnati is giving... How come I can't find this game on FanDuel? Oh, here we go. 21.5. I'm going to lay it with Cincinnati. Georgia State Richmond. My projection is Richmond 6.5. And the line is 6.5. Total is 147.5. I think that goes under. Lafayette Penn. My projection is Penn by 8.5. I'm sorry, 8.75. And this line is Penn 7.5. Total is 152.5. That's pretty high. I'm going to take the under. Johnson, Wales, Rhode Island at Brown. We can skip. NJIT, Rutgers on the Big Ten Network. My projection is Rutgers by 19.5. And I'm going to check Vegas Insider very quickly for this line. And it's 17 and 129.5. So I am going to go with Rutgers. I'm going to lay it with Rutgers. 2.5 point edge, so I'm going to lay it with Rutgers. UNC Wilmington at Pitt. My projection is Pitt by 8.25, and it is Pitt by 8. Total is 138.5. I'll take the over. That's low. Jacksonville UCF. I project UCF by 12.25. And this line comes out to UCF 17.5. I'm taking Jacksonville in the points. Jacksonville State at Troy. I project State by 9. And this line is Jacksonville State 4.5. I'm going to lay the points with Jacksonville State. Hofstra Iona. My projection is Iona by 7.75. And Iona is favored by 4.5. I'm going to lay with Iona. Yale and Siena. My projection is Yale by 12.75, and it's Yale by 4.5. I'm going to lay it with Yale. Medgar Evers and Fairfield will skip. Lehigh Monmouth. My projection is Monmouth by 11.5. And this line is Monmouth by 7, total 145. I'm going to lay the 7 with Monmouth. South Alabama, number 14 Alabama on the SEC Network Plus. My projection is Alabama by 18, and it is 22.5. I'm going to take South Alabama. Next couple we can skip. Concordia, Texas, Incarnate Word, and Champion Christian Yale Monroe. 8 o'clock. St. Louis at number 11, Memphis. My projection is Memphis by 4.5. And it's 10.5. I'm taking St. Louis in the points. That is a pick I actually really like from an against the spread standpoint. ESPN, Virginia at number 15, Houston. My projection is Houston by 4.5. And Houston is giving 6.5. I'm taking Virginia in the points. I can't believe Houston's favored by that much. Next couple we can skip. Trinity, Illinois, UIC, and Fisk and Tennessee State. Next up, Southern Rice. My projection is Rice 8.5. And this line is Rice 13.5. I'm going to take Southern in the points. Murray State, Illinois State. My projection is Murray State by 13. And it is 6.5. I'm going to lay to 6.5 at Murray State. Missouri, Science and Tech, and Bradley, we can skip. Alabama State, Iowa State. I project Iowa State by 21.25. And Iowa State is giving 21.5. So it's a quarter off. 139.5 is the total. We'll take the over. Tarleton and Wichita State. My projection is Wichita State by 23.5. And Wichita is giving 13.5. I'm going to lay the 13.5 with Wichita. New Orleans and Northwestern. I project Northwestern by 10.5. And it's 23.5. I'm taking New Orleans in the points. Paul Quinn and Texas Rio Grande Valley. We can skip. Chicago State, Loyola, Chicago. My projection is Loyola by 20.75. And it's 33.5. I'm taking Chicago State in the points. That's a lot. Central Connecticut and NC State from Mohegan Sun Arena. My projection is NC State by 25. And it's 23.5. I'm going to take the total, and I'm going to go with the under. I think this is a lower scoring game. High Point, Notre Dame on the ACC Network. My projection is Notre Dame by 19.75. And it's 20.5. I'm going to take the over 140.5. Here's a good one. Some ballsy scheduling here by North Carolina. 8:30 CBS Sports Network, number 18 North Carolina at Charleston. My projection is Carolina by 11.5. And this line is 13.5. I'm taking Charleston in the points. Fox Sports 2, American and Georgetown. My projection is Georgetown by 6.5, and it's 14.5. I'm taking American in the points. Denver UTSA. My projection is UTSA by 2 3/4. And it's UTSA by 10.5. I'm taking Denver and the points. Next up is Seton Hall, Michigan. My projection is Michigan by 6. By the way, this game is 9 o'clock, Fox Sports 1. Seton Hall at number 4, Michigan. My projection is Michigan by 6. And it is 8.5 and 138.5. I'm going to take Seton Hall in the points. I think that's a lot. Northern New Mexico and UTEP, we can skip. Big Ten Network, NC Central, and Iowa. I project Iowa by 15. And Iowa is giving we don't have this game posted on FanDuel. Unless it has it listed for an 8 o'clock start, but we'll look at DraftKings instead. See if they have it. Yeah, they do, and it's 30.5. Total 145.5. I'm going to take NC Central and the points. Next up is Nevada and Santa Clara. My projection is Santa Clara by 4.5. And Nevada's actually a 3-point road favorite. Total's 152. I'm taking Santa Clara and the points. And I'm taking them to win outright. North Dakota State and Arizona on the Pac-12 Network. My projection is Arizona by 11. And it is 16.5 and 140.5. I'm taking North Dakota State in the points. BYU and Oregon from the Moda Center on ESPN. I project number 12 Oregon as a 3/4 of a point favorite, and they're favored by 3.5. I'm taking BYU plus 3.5. I don't know if they'll win the game, but they might. A couple right here we can skip. Laverne and UC Irvine, San Diego Christian, UC San Diego. Jackson State, Cal Baptist. My projection here is Cal Baptist by 4.5. And the line is 6 and 139.5. I'm going to take the over. Stanislaus State and Pacific we can skip. And last but not least, George Washington and Cal State Fullerton at 10:30. My projection is Fullerton by 3.5, and it is Fullerton by 2.5. Totals 145.5. I will take the over. All right, now I'll move on to the NBA. We will recap last night's games, and we will look ahead to everything going on tonight. Celtics over the Cavs 98-92. Celtics 7-7. Cleveland 9-6. Kings over the Pistons 129-107. Kings 6-8. Pistons 3-10. Wizards over the Pelicans 105-100. The Pelicans 10-3. New Orleans 2-13. Hawks over the Magic 129-111. The Hawks 6-9. Orlando 3-11. Knicks over the Pacers 92-84. The Knicks are 8-6. The Pacers are 6-9. Mavericks over the Nuggets 111-101. The Mavs 9-4. Denver 9-5. Grizzlies over the Rockets 136-102. Memphis 7-7. Houston 1-13. Suns over the Timberwolves 99-96. Suns 10-3. Minnesota 4-9. Heat over the Thunder 103.90. Heat 9-5. Thunder 5-8. Trailblazers over the Raptors 118-113. Portland 7-8. Toronto 7-8 also. Bulls over the Lakers 121-103. The Bulls are 10-4 and the Lakers are 8-7. Now we look ahead to tonight, only 3 games, 7:30 on TNT. You got the Warriors at the Nets from Barclays. My projection for this game is Nets by 1 3/4, total 214-45. Meanwhile, it is Brooklyn by 3, total 222. I'm going to take the under in this game. Next up, the Jazz hosting the 76ers, 10 o'clock TNT. My projection with all the injuries and whatnot with the Sixers, my projection is the Jazz by 14.5, total 214-65. You know, it's 9.5 and 216. I'm going to lay the points with the Jazz. And last but not least, 10:30, the Spurs and the Clippers. My projection is Clippers by 3 or 10 3/4, total 215-45. You know, it's 8 and 220. I am going to take the under in that game. All right, now we'll move on to the NHL. We will recap last night's results, and we'll look ahead to what is going to be a busy window in hockey tonight. Lightning over the Islanders 4-1. The Lightning 8-3-3. Islanders 5-5-2. Blue Jackets over the Red Wings 5-3. The Blue Jackets 8-5-0. Detroit 8-7-2. Now we look ahead to tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Predators and the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs are -205. The Preds are +168. Over under 5.5. Overs -115. Unders -105. Predators +1.5 is -154. Maple Leafs -1.5 is +128. I like the over in the game. I think there's going to be more scoring than you think. Islanders Panthers on ESPN Plus exclusively. Panthers -182. Islanders +150. Over under 5.5 -110 each way. Islanders +1.5 is -184. Panthers -1.5 is +148. I'm going under 5.5. Senators Devils postponed due to the COVID outbreak with the Senators organization. Canadians Rangers from the Garden. Rangers -205. The Canadians are +168. Over under 5.5. Overs -112. Unders -108. Habs +1.5 is -184. Rangers -1.5 is +148. For this game, I'm going to go with the puck line. -1.5 is +148 for the New York Rangers. Flames at the Flyers. Why isn't... Oh, there it is. The Flames are -115. The Flyers are -104. Over under 5.5. -110 each way. Flames -1.5 is +120. Flyers +1.5 is -280. I'm taking the Flames -115 on the road. Sabres Penguins. The Pens are -275. Buffalo's +220. Over under 6. Overs -108. Unders -112. Buffalo +1.5 is -112. Penguins -1.5 is -108. I'm going to go with the over. The Penguins have been an over machine of late. I think their offense will bounce back. 8 o'clock, Coyotes Blues. The Blues are -375. The Coyotes are +290. Over under 5.5. Overs -115. Unders -105. Coyotes +1.5 is +104. Blues -1.5 is -128. I'm going to go with the over in this game. I think the Blues could potentially do it by themselves. Sharks Wild. The Wild -194. The Sharks +160. Over under 6. Overs -105. Unders -115. Sharks +1.5 is -162. Wild -1.5 is +132. In this game, I'm going to go with the... It's a tough one. Let's go with the under. I don't feel great about it, though. The Oilers and the Jets. It's a pick'em, -110 each way. Over 6.5 is +104. Under 6.5 is -128. Edmonton +1 is minus 290. Jets -1 is plus 225. I'm going to go with the Oilers in the pick'em. So the Jets are home favorites on the puck line. And you could argue deservingly so, but the best player on the ice is Connor McDavid. 8:30. Red Wings Stars exclusively on ESPN+. Dallas -210. Detroit +172. Over under 5.5. Overs -112. Unders -108. Detroit +1 is minus 160. Dallas -1 is plus 130. I'm going to take the under. I think this is an under game. 10 o'clock. Hurricanes Golden Knights. Great game from Vegas. Carolina's -128. Vegas +106. Over under 6. -110 each way. Hurricanes -1 is plus 194. Vegas +1 is minus 245. The Golden Knights, I think, are getting back on the right track. I am taking them as a home dog. +106 against Carolina. Capitals Ducks. The Capitals are -138. The Ducks are +115. Over under 5.5. Overs -122. Unders even money. Capitals -1 is plus 180. Ducks +1 is minus 225. I'm going to take the Ducks as a home dog. I like how the Ducks are playing. The Ducks are quietly over 500, playing well in the Pacific Division, sitting in second place, 1 point back of Edmonton. It is so close right now. So the leader in the clubhouse for the President's Trophy in hockey is Florida, and they're only up by 1 point. And then in second place is Carolina, Washington, and Edmonton. Third place is Anaheim, Toronto, Rangers, and it just goes from there. So let's go with the Ducks plus the money. I think it's like plus 115 or something like that. Let's double check that. Plus 106. So I like that pick. Ducks plus 106 at home against the Capitals. College football tonight. We have a couple games in action. First up at 7 o'clock, you got Toledo and Ohio. My projection is Toledo by 1, total 54.15. Meanwhile, it's 7.5 and 55.5. I love Ohio, and I think they have a chance to win outright. I'm not picking them to win outright, but I think they have a chance. I think Toledo will ultimately win a close game. And a slight edge to the under as well. Next up is Western Michigan at Eastern Michigan on ESPN2 at 7:30. My projection's Eastern by 3, total 63.95. Meanwhile, it's Western by 6.5, total 66.5. This is an underdog. I think they'll win outright. I love Eastern Michigan getting the points. And I'm going to take the plus 186 straight up. And I also have an edge on the under. And the last one, 8 o'clock, ESPNU, Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio. My projection is Miami of Ohio by 7, total 53.65. Meanwhile, it is 16.5 and 51.5. I'm taking Bowling Green in the points. I think that Miami of Ohio shouldn't be favored by more than 2 touchdowns really against anybody in their own conference. And I have an edge on the over in this game as well. All right, now we'll move on to news and notes for today. There are some things that I would like to get to very quickly. Duke star Paolo Banchero charged with aiding and abetting DWI, and Coach K's grandson, Michael Severino, arrested. Oof, that's not a good look for the Duke program. The soon-to-be Cleveland Guardians settled a lawsuit with the local roller derby squad with the same name, as they can use the name Guardian. So the Cleveland Guardians, everybody. Former Major League Baseball shortstop Julio Lugo passes away at the age of 45 of a heart attack. Thoughts and prayers to his family and former teammates and friends. That's just unfortunate. Baseball awards started last night, and your rookies of the year in the American League, Randy Arozarena in the American League, and in the National League, Jonathan India. So that was predictable. Well-deserved for both players. India, 21 home runs for the Reds this year. And Arozarena had a 2020 season and a 4.2 WAR. And breaking baseball news coming in right now, Jose Burrill signs a monster extension, 7 years, $130 million with the Blue Jays. They had to do that. If you gave up 2 elite caliber prospects to go get Jose Barrios, you got to extend him, and he better perform like a Cy Young candidate out there each and every day. Because they gave up a premium for Barrios. And now he gets paid, and he's got to live up to that contract. And the Blue Jays are a team that might be in play for the American League East next year, for what we know. Virginia Tech fires head coach Justin Fuente after 6 seasons. I remember when they hired him. It was just kind of ironic, but now we'll see in what direction they'll go. Bo Nix out for the season, as he's going to get ankle surgery. That's a blow for Auburn. Gators head coach Dan Mullen not ashamed of Selly, as he did in my optics of celebration, the win over SCS Sanford. I will never not celebrate a victory. I mean, he's right. You always should celebrate a victory. Especially for someone like him, who I think has quietly become a hot seat coach after losing as a big favorite to South Carolina, nearly losing to Furman last week. And Florida really hasn't lived up to expectations under Dan Mullen. Like, Jimbo Fisher's done a better job at Texas A&M than Dan Mullen has at Florida. Jerome McGinley highlights a 2020 NHL Hall of Fame class that was inducted, as well as Marian Hossa, 2 big name players over the past 2 decades, pretty much. Gary Bettman on Kyle Beach. What happened to Kyle Beach was unacceptable, as he said that during the Hall of Fame ceremony last night. I don't know if anybody saw this 2 nights ago, but Sidney Crosby came back for the Penguins, and he yanked down and threw a Capitals defenseman into the boards during a defeat on Sunday, and that was really disturbing, and hopefully that player's okay. Anthony Davis got ejected last night against the Bulls as he cursed out an official. 76ers fined Ben Simmons again for failing to travel on the 6-game road trip. Speaking of hot seat coaches, Luke Walton is one of them, if the Kings slide continues. Rumor has it that Odell Beckham Jr. did not want to leave the Browns, according to Lisa Salters, as Odell says that he could have never envisioned being traded from the Browns. Something funny during the Manning simulcast last night, Eli Manning mixed up Aaron Donald's name. Eli goes, "They thought he was Darnold, that's why they didn't block him." It was so funny. Gotta love Eli. The Mets finally have a new general manager, Billy Eppler, former Angels GM, worked under Brian Cashman with the Yankees. We'll see where this goes. DeAndre Ayton came back for the Suns against the Timberwolves last night. Jalen Suggs has a sprained ankle, as he didn't play against the Hawks last night, considered day-to-day. Couple NFL injury stuff. Chase Young did tear his ACL. We knew that already. TJ Watt's injury not serious. MRI came back negative. Status for Week 11 to be determined. Cordell Patterson can miss some time with a sprained ankle. That's a big loss for the Falcons offense. Whitney Merciless out for the year with a torn biceps. That's a big loss for the Packers defense. Aaron Jones likely out a few weeks with a mild MCL sprain. The New York Yankees named Luis Rojas their third base coach after Rojas was fired from the Mets as their manager. The Yankees also met with Freddie Freeman's reps, which is very interesting. I don't see Freddie Freeman leaving Atlanta. I said that on last night's show. We talked about the Senators having a COVID outbreak tonight's game against the Devils, and then the 2 games after that against the Predators and the Rangers are postponed. Sam Howell has an upper body injury, as he may miss the last home game of the season. And the college basketball AP poll is out after a interesting first week. And it's Gonzaga, UCLA, Kansas, Michigan, Villanova, Purdue, Duke, Texas, Baylor, Illinois, Memphis, Oregon, Kentucky, Alabama, Houston, Arkansas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio, Maryland, Auburn, St. Bonaventure, Connecticut, Florida, USC. And that is your top 25 for the week. And the last one, Joanne Williams says he's running for New York governor. You're going to see a lot of people making that such announcement within the next few weeks and months, as in less than a year from now, we'll be electing a new governor in New York, so potentially. We'll see if Kathy Hochul chooses to run or not. Now I'm going to play a little game on the podcast called Hit or Miss. And that's where I go through a first round of a particular draft and determine whether that pick at the moment is a hit or a miss. We'll start with the 2020 NFL Draft. So the number 1 overall pick was Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals. That's a hit. He's been sensational. Washington football team, Chase Young. That's a hit. Detroit Lions, Jeff Okudah. That's a miss. He's been hurt and he was bad. This is an interesting one with the Giants and Andrew Thomas at number 4. A year ago, we'd be saying miss. Before he got injured this year, we'd say hit. But honestly, right now, the Giants are 3-6. And his injury has been a bigger deal than we could have anticipated. So I'm actually going to say hit on that one for the time being. We'll see how he looks when he comes back from injury. So there's no Ewing theory there with Andrew Thomas. So that's good from a Giants standpoint. Miami Tua Tagovailoa. It's unfortunate, but this is a miss right now. There's other quarterbacks in this draft that are better than Tua. And you know that they don't like Tua when there's rumors out there they want Deshaun Watson. Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, that is an absolute hit. He's been amazing. I think Joe Burrow is better than Justin Herbert, but a year ago we would probably be saying the other way around. The Carolina Panthers, Derek Brown, I'm going to say right now it's a hit, a solid building block on the defensive line. Arizona Cardinals, Isaiah Simmons, a year ago missed. Now I'm going to say hit. Simmons, I think, has had a really good year, too, for the Cardinals. Number 9, Jacksonville Jaguars, C.J. Henderson, miss. He's not even on the team anymore. The Cleveland Browns at 10, Jedrick Wills. I'm going to say a hit. That offensive line's good. He's a big part of it. New York Jets, Mekhi Becton, hit. He really has become a good player for the Jets, and it's unfortunate he got hurt. The Las Vegas Raiders, Henry Ruggs, miss. And it's all because of that incident. That was very sad. The Buccaneers, Tristan Wirfs, hit. Starting offensive lineman on a team that won the Super Bowl. The San Francisco 49ers, Javon Kinlaw. This is one of the more interesting ones, in my opinion. But if you asked me if this was hit or miss, this is a miss. 15, the Denver Broncos, Jerry Jeudy, wideout, Alabama. To me, this is a hit. This is based on what we've seen so far, and less so of the injuries. Because I think that they can really use Jerry Jeudy, and his absence is felt for Denver. The Atlanta Falcons, A.J. Terrell. This is another interesting one. And as of right now, I'd say this is a hit. He's been pretty good this year. 17, Dallas Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb. Absolute hit. He is on his way to becoming a top 10 wide receiver in the league if he isn't already. Miami Dolphins, Austin Jackson, miss. The Dolphins' offensive line still stinks. And I don't think that Jackson has really shown much potential with the Dolphins. 19, the Las Vegas Raiders. Damon Arnett, miss. The Raiders' defense is an atrocity. I feel like the Raiders have missed on a ton of picks. The Jacksonville Jaguars, K'Lavon Chason. This is another interesting one. But at the moment, I would say this is a miss. The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Reagor, miss. I'm sorry. There are better receivers in this draft than Jalen Reagor. Or else maybe the Eagles would actually be in contention for the wild card. The Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson, absolute hit. Like, there's no better way of replacing Stephon Diggs than getting somebody that is just as good as him. The Los Angeles Chargers, Kenneth Murray. As of now, I'd say this is a miss. I just don't think he's really been all that special. The New Orleans Saints, this is a good one. Cesar Ruiz. He plays on a solid offensive line, but he really hasn't been that good. So right now, this is a miss. That's unfortunate. I think he'll get better, though. This doesn't mean that this turns into a hit eventually. San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, miss. He's been benched several times. Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, absolute miss. This was the worst pick of the first round. I've said it from day one. And I think Aaron Rodgers, post-life, potentially could be super bleak. The Seattle Seahawks, Jordan Brooks. Right now, this pick seems like a miss. The Seahawks defense stinks, and Brooks was asked to make a jump, and he hasn't. 28, the Baltimore Ravens, Patrick Queen. Right now, I would say a miss. He's been awful. The Tennessee Titans, Isaiah Wilson, miss. He's not even on the team anymore. Number 30, the Miami Dolphins. Noah Igbenogny, miss. 31, Minnesota Vikings. Jeff Gladney. And at the moment, this is a miss. He hasn't played yet this year, and he wasn't good last year. And 32, the Kansas City Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This is a miss. He's not Saquon Barkley. He's not Christian McCaffrey. He's not Derrick Henry. He's not what Ezekiel Elliott was. Like, come on. Like, to me, a running back should be taken in the first round that is going to be productive and help you win. And those running backs I just listed, I don't know if they all deserve. Some of them deserve to go where they went in the draft. Barkley, Elliott, and McCaffrey in particular. But more so the first two I just named. But the first two, Elliott and Barkley, were win-now picks for their respective teams rather than trying to rebuild. And even McCaffrey was a win-now pick at the time, too. So those three were all win-now picks, especially Dallas and the Giants with their two star running backs. But the Chiefs made that pick thinking that they had a great chance to get to the Super Bowl yet again. And Helaire really hasn't produced for them. And you can get better value at running backs in the later rounds of the drafts. And Derrick Henry really has proved that. Dancing with the Stars. Well, that was a fun segment, by the way. Tomorrow we'll do Major League Baseball, which is going to be more of an interesting one to do. Because some guys aren't even in the big leagues yet. It comes down to where they're ranked in their prospect systems and their numbers so far in the minors. So, Dancing with the Stars, and it was an interesting episode. Last night was the semifinals. It was an unlured dance and a redemption dance, which was very interesting. So, each couple was paired with the judge, and each couple went twice. Cody and Cheryl were with Bruno. Their first dance was a salsa dance to Danza Kudrow by Don Omar and Lucenzo and got a 35. Their second dance was an Argentine tango to Lumparquista by Forever Tango and got a 36. Melora and Artem were with Len. They did a rumba dance to I Don't Want to Wait by Paula Cole and got a 36, and a contemporary dance to Thunder by Imagine Dragons got a 36. Sonny and Sasha were with Carrie Ann. They did a foxtrot to Haven't Met You Yet by Michael Bublé and got a 37, and the contemporary to Gravity by Sarah Bareilles and got a 38. JoJo and Jenna did an Argentine tango to Santa Maria by Del Buen Array and got a 40, and a contemporary to Before You Go, the piano version by Louis Capaldi, and got a 40. So 2 40s, and they were with Len. Amon and Daniela did a tango dance to Telephone by Martinez and got a 37, and a jazz dance to Dark Fantasy by Kanye West and got a 38. They were with Derek. And Amanda and Alan were with Len, and they did a tango dance to Titanium by David Guetta and Sia and got a 39, and a contemporary to Live Your Life by Nick Cordero and got a 40. So Carrie Ann, Derek, and Bruno voted to save Amanda and Alan, and Len would have voted to save them as well. Eliminated immediately was Melora and Artem. Eliminated by the judges' votes were Sony and Sasha. Amanda and Alan were saved by the judges. They were in the bottom three. And they joined Amon and Daniela, JoJo and Jenna, and Cody and Cheryl in the finals. That's a good Final Four. And I really am looking forward to see how this all plays out. And obviously I'm going to do predictions on Monday's podcast to predict how it plays out. Last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I gave it away earlier. It was a pick I absolutely loved in college basketball. I'm just going to take them against the spread, but not straight up. As in my best bet. And that is the where is it? They take that line down? I don't even... Oh, Austin P. Austin P getting the 7.5 against Purdue Fort Wayne will be my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from tonight and looking ahead to tomorrow. I'll preview and predict the next golf tournament on tomorrow's show as well, as we'll do hit or miss for the 2020 Major League Baseball draft. I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.